Hello, YouTube, and welcome to Storms, Radios, and Cats. First of all, let me explain to you what MURS is and what it's used for, and how I managed to come across this signal that was all over the business band for some reason, and it only seemed to happen this one night out of the week. So I recorded the video portion of this a week ago, so just last week. And what brought my attention to it was locking up my scanner. So I have all 5 of the MURS VHF frequencies punched into my scanner, and it was locking up specifically on 151.880 megahertz. You may have seen the chart that I showed right before I started talking, and that shows you all the frequencies for the MURS band. And yes, there are actually 2 channels that are in the business band or considered part of the business band, and those are generally spaced at 20 kilohertz bandwidth and can be shared with licensed users of the business band. Now, MURS, you don't need a license as long as you stay under 2 watts or right at 2 watts, and you don't use profanity. You're allowed to use high gain antennas. You could send GPS and short text over the MURS band. And it's a first come, first serve kind of thing, or you take turns talking, which is the way CB used to be. There's companies like Target and Walmart who use MURS, and I believe they're usually right around 154,600 megahertz. It's 154.600 megahertz, and they seem to be under the impression that that's their channel. Now, I don't normally go around harassing businesses that use any band, whether they're a licensed frequency or not. And I don't encourage it. Although I have seen some videos where people were trolling these companies, and it's kind of hilarious, but I don't encourage it. 154.600 seems to be popular with Walmart and, from what I've been told, Target. Now, there are other corporations and businesses and restaurants and whatnot that take advantage of the license-free band. Last I checked, I didn't see, that Walmart or Target had a license for those frequencies. So really, if I was passing through town and, happened to be on that frequency, then so be it. It is kind of a take-turn kind of thing with these license-free bands. FRS is the same way. GMRS is that way, although GMRS is licensed. So, CB radio used to be that way, but now it's people just talking over top of each other, and nobody takes turns. Nobody, wants to let anyone talk, and no one can have a break unless you're part of the clique. And as far as emergency communications, which all frequencies, you must stand by and let somebody try to get help if they are in an emergency situation. I don't care what channel it is, but anyway, that's CB radio. That's not what this is about. But I found this frequency on the MURS band, specifically 151.880 megahertz. And the only reason I noticed it was because it was locking up my scanner. I have all the MURS frequencies punched into my scanner. And you would think that it would actually stop on all of those frequencies in the MURS band, but for some reason, this signal was only locking up 151.880 megahertz. And then it would just, it'd be there for like 30 seconds or less and then disappear. I got curious, and it was kind of annoying because it was just nothing but noise. I couldn't really say that it was digital noise or anything, but it was rough. Now, this footage was recorded about a week ago, I believe, and I think we were having some solar flares at that time, so that's maybe a possibility in this case, but I'm kind of leaning towards this was a transmitter that was just all over the place. It's, of course, maybe it's PLL or something was just all out of whack, and this thing was just actually trailing up and down the business band. So it wasn't, I don't know why it wasn't locking up the other MURS frequencies, but the reason I found out the signal was all over the business band is because I was actually using a Quansheng UVK5, which this one in the video is a Quinlada or something like that. But it's just a knockoff. It's the same radio, it's just different case, different name. But it is the Quansheng, and the Quansheng has a receive as wide as a barn door, as they say. But the fact that the brand new, Bearcat scanner was locking up on that frequency kind of told me that this was a signal from a runaway transmitter somewhere, and it was causing interference. Now, I did rule out a couple things. I thought maybe my modem could have been doing it. So it would have been possible that I was getting spurious images off of my modem. However, I moved the Quansheng over by the modem, did pick it up. And if you're paying attention to the video portion of this more than my voice, then that's okay, because you can actually see the waterfall on the Quansheng, and it's showing that signal is skating all up and down the band. So that's what I'm talking about. This signal was just all over the place, and it would take about 10 minutes before it would come back around. Now, sometimes it would go up the band, and then there was other times it went down. So it was, I'm not sure. It's kind of reminds me of trunking or spread spectrum, but I'm pretty sure that this was just a faulty transceiver that for some reason was locked down, and it was just going up and down the band. And so at some point in this video, I show it is actually moving. So I sped the video up just so that you can get a sense of how that was moving across the waterfall. I believe that's the Exumer firmware in the Quansheng receiver. So it gave me a visual idea. Now, it's not the best waterfall. SDRs probably have the best waterfall displays, and I would have had a better understanding of what was going on with the signal. We can't rule out a faulty UV5R. Much as I like Baofangs, some of these radios from overseas are not really clean. Some of the older versions of the UV5R are not very clean, but I can't imagine a walkie-talkie being locked down like that for that long. So this is something that had a purpose. Maybe it was sending signals out. Maybe it was connected to sensors or whatnot, but I just know that it was all up and down the band, and you can tell that by the video playing right there. So I'm not sure really exactly what was going on, and it's okay if you want to chime in and maybe give your ideas as to what was going on here. But it was really, I wished I'd recorded the audio from that lockdown when it would lock down on my scanner. It was loud, it was annoying, and it didn't sound like digital. So it didn't sound like P25 or something like that, or encryption. It just sounded like the radio was just messed up. So that's why I'm kind of leaning towards a defective transceiver. So, MURS, it's okay. It's a band that you can go to if you want to get away from the kids on FRS. Not a lot of people use it. Very few businesses use it, which is kind of odd because, these business licenses are expensive. You're looking, it's not going to be $100 or $35 like the GMRS license. The GMRS license, covers your whole family, and the license is good for 10 years. You pay $35. That's it. There's no test. In the business band, but in the business band, you can pay way up there. And that's just the licensing fees and the company to do the research to make sure that the frequency you want is not taken. So with all that being said, that this could be just something that somebody set up. They have no idea that it's gone nuts and it's all up and down the band. So that's a very good possibility. But that's it for me. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and share this channel out. We might touch base on this a little bit more in the future.